What is up, YouTube? My name is Trinity and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. So today we are going to talk about 3 more interesting cryptids. One I have never heard of, one is pretty popular, and the other I know a little bit about, but it's not a very popular thing as far as I know. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it very much. So let's get into it. I'm very excited to tell you about these just because I really like talking about creepy stuff. And I hope you guys enjoyed the previous video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one as well. Also, if you guys wonder why I keep looking over here, I have my notebook full of notes. So just looking at it, gathering information, and then giving it to you guys. So the first cryptid we're going to talk about is called the Leeds Devil, though more famously it is known as the Jersey Devil. My introduction to this cryptid actually wasn't through one of those shows where they talk about it all the time or a creepy YouTube video I found. It was actually through one of my favorite video games called The Wolf Among Us, based on a comic book series that I read. So sightings of the Jersey Devil began around the 1700s. It is said to have hooves and the tail of a snake and a very horse-like head, and it just goes around eating children and terrorizing communities. Basically your average boogeyman legend with a very unique appearance. Apparently it has the power to glow, breathe fire, or even poison water it steps into. One theory for the origin of this cryptid comes from a mistress to a British soldier. I didn't find an exact date for when this happened, allegedly happened. But she was accused of being a witch, so I imagine it was pretty far back. They say when she had her 13th child, which of course, not a very lucky number if you're superstitious, but she cursed the child for some reason, and when it was born, it was this monstrous hairy creature that eventually she just set loose on her community, maybe as revenge for people talking shit. And it went around terrorizing people and eating other kids. That's the origin story I found. I don't really want to go into accounts because a lot of them, unless they're very unique, they could just be like, oh, I saw this weird creature in the woods, and that's all it is. Hey, before we get into our next cryptid, I just want to ask you guys to subscribe to this channel. I noticed when looking at my analytics that a lot of people who watch my channel aren't subscribed. I'll let you in on a little secret. A lot of the people that are subscribed to me, I know in real life. Yeah, I'm that kind of loser. It is really heartwarming to know that other people I don't know who aren't subscribed are watching my videos, and I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. Let's get this channel to 50 subscribers. I would celebrate for 50 subscribers. So the second cryptid that we are going to talk about, I have never heard before, and I thought it was really interesting. This creature is called the Lackwood Screecher. It is a creature that apparently lives somewhere in Quebec, Canada. And what's interesting about this creature is that there's no reports of it ever being seen, which might sound weird until you hear more about it. It's never been caught on film, and I couldn't find any physical descriptions of this, so nobody's seen it. All there is to it is basically people hear these loud, irritating, metallic screams coming from the wood with seemingly no origin. Close proximity to these screams can cause the sensation of throbbing in the head, nosebleeds, nausea, and other disorienting and negative side effects, which I found very interesting because there's not a lot of creatures in mythology, at least that I've heard about, that maybe the banshee, that their main characteristic is their sound. Besides the banshee, like, you always hear about what they look like. They're these big, weird creatures, this hairy ape man in the woods, or this dinosaur, plesiosaur thing in a lake, or something like that. But to have something that nobody's ever seen, but it's popular enough and well known enough that it's a legend now, that I think that's kind of cool. Apparently, whatever this creature is leaves behind some sort of dandruff or dust or some sort of irritant because it causes the skin to become irritated red. It starts to blister. It gets really itchy, and in severe cases, it causes bleeding and severe scarring, which, what could this thing be? I don't even know if I could say this is just a legend, because, like, there's obviously something, even if it's not, like, a creature. Like, what is causing these supposed, like, symptoms? is there some sort of like fungus? Is it a fungal spore? And the screams are something totally unrelated. I know things like elk and bobcats, I know they make really weird noises that can, in some instances, almost sound human. So maybe somebody encountered a new sort of fungal spore that causes skin irritation, but then they heard the screams and associated the two. I don't know. But I find it really cool. Like, I want to know more about it, but there's not a lot about it, so it's kind of frustrating. The last thing we're going to talk about are ABCs. ABCs, which stands for either alien big cats or anomalous big cats. All of these happening in the United Kingdom and surrounding areas. They're also called British big cats, but just be careful if you look up that acronym because you might get something else. Essentially, people describe these large Black Panthers, basically, that don't belong in the UK. There's not much more to it. There's theories that they're a surviving creature from an ice age or just an animal that hasn't been discovered yet, though because the UK, a lot of it at least, is very developed, having a population of a large predator that is undiscovered is very unlikely, so I don't know. Some people think it is a continuation of this black dog legend. Essentially, somebody would see a black dog and it was an omen for something. So it was a more supernatural kind of thing. And people think this is just a continuation of that in a different form. In 1980, a puma was actually captured alive in Scotland, either theorized to be a released pet or an escaped pet of someone who was illegally owning it. And honestly, I think this is probably one of the most likely scenarios, just because exotic pets, I don't think they should be a thing, but a lot of people do have them. You get them as these little cubs and they're so cute, they're like a little house cat, and then they get a lot bigger than you expect, or they need a lot more food than you realize. I don't think exotic pets should be a thing. They introduce a predator into an ecosystem where they don't belong, and then things like this happen where they escape or they're released because people just can't take them anymore, and then people might get attacked or our native wildlife is just screwed up. So essentially all I'm saying with that little tirade is I don't support exotic pets. Fuck Tiger King. Another theory is they are domestic cats that are just black cats, normal cats, seen from a closer distance than the person interprets, and they look a lot bigger because they think they're seeing something from farther away. Which is kind of a boring explanation. I guess maybe someone with eye problems that could explain it. But I feel like for the most part, if I see a cat from far away, I'm able to relatively judge the distance and therefore judge its size, but I don't know. Maybe it's a more common mistake than I realize. The one thing that makes me question if this is something other than one of these theories, whether it's an exotic pet or someone like thinking they're seeing something they're not, is the frequency of sightings. I don't have a list for recent sightings or anything, but there would have to be a lot of escaped exotic pets for this to make sense. Getting out my numbers here. Between the April of 2004 and July of 2005, in these locations, this is how many sightings there were. You're gonna kind of start to question, wouldn't this have been debunked already if these were all escaping animals, you know? In Devon, there were 132 between these two time periods, between 2004 and 2005. In York, 127. Scotland, 125. Wales, 123. Glouse, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, 104. Sussex, 103. Cornwall, 99. Kent, 92. Somerset, 91. That is a lot. That is several per month. In Devon, there were more than 10 per month if they were spread out over the entire year. That's insane. And of course, if some of these were misidentified, yeah, people could be seeing the same animal multiple times, but that's still a lot to be seeing. So I don't know what I think about that. It seems like such a cut and dry case, but then the frequency of it seems so strange. You'd think there would be more cases, like more stuff on the news, and they'd just be like, oh, another thing escaped, another lion, another tiger, another whatever escaped, but it's not something you hear very often. Maybe I'm just not seeing it and everyone knows it's like a common problem, but I feel like it would be more well known in that case, you know? But anyway, thank you guys again for coming back to my channel. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment some cryptids you want me to talk about, or your favorite, or something you learned from this video. I don't know, anything. I really enjoy reading comments. I've gotten a couple on some other videos recently, and it really does make my day to see people interacting with my stuff, because sometimes, even though I can see people viewing, it feels like I'm just talking to a camera in my bedroom. So seeing people actually interact back with it is really fun, really cool, and it makes me feel really happy. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.